Hello, dear ones. Well, I have another image for you. You may already have seen it in the thumbnail, but the way I see the Matrix right now, it's like this big black balloon, and the air is just coming out of it, and it doesn't have that punch anymore. It's kind of collapsing, and it looks a little droopy and weak. And it's just another metaphor of what is happening in our experience. And it is worth celebrating as far as I'm concerned. But I also know that to many people, this collapse of the matrix and the deflating of the matrix, it looks scary because remember, the matrix is all that we have known to be true for a very, very long time. It's like I said before, it's everything we see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and think. It's all happening in our five sense mind. So that's all we have access to. That's all that feels real and that we can prove is real, right? In this world, it's like, no, this is solid, you can feel it, it's real. So I don't have a problem with that because we have lived in that reality as if it's true for a very long time. So everything in us, our whole neural pathways, all our cells, all our movements, everything in us has been programmed to engage in that as if it's real. And I just want to bring in the little metaphor I had the other day of the drama triangle, where we all play the little role, like the perpetrator, the victim, and the rescuer. We play one of the roles or many of the roles, depending on who we're interacting with. And that is how we ourselves have kept this illusionary and false matrix alive, seeming alive. But because the energies are shifting a lot, there are a lot of these higher frequency energies coming into our planet or our stratosphere, atmosphere. I don't know how to describe all this because it's all happening on different planes. And these new energies, those are the ones that we feel inside as the longing for a better world, a better future, a better way of living. So it's very real, but most of us are just not aware of that if we're not really tuned into our heart and the longing that happens in there and have learned to trust it. So there is a piece in there that's very important while we're moving are going through this transition. And then as these higher energies come in, that means that the old lower frequency energies, they cannot survive in that. And that's why today with this balloon cannot survive in this much higher energy that is coming in and that many of us are feeling. And it can be very, very uncomfortable because this matrix, that's all inside of us too. It's not out there, it's in here. And then everything we see from there through our eyes, through our senses, and then includes our body. That is all the false matrix. And that's when we have been experienced something that has not been real. And now we are beginning to realize that as these higher frequencies keep coming in and keep letting many of us feel uncomfortable at times. And, it's like we're sitting here, we're just allowing ourselves to expand by just allowing these contractions that we still have inside in our bodies as an experience. It can feel very, very uncomfortable. And I know a lot of people feel very, very uncomfortable. And the trick is, as far as I can see, is to really learn to just allow, right? It's creating that space of allowing instead of fighting it and believing that there's something wrong and we're really sick. Not that we shouldn't take care of ourselves, but there is an element of that that's very helpful when you are realizing, when you really get that, oh, okay, there's another big blast of energy that's coming in, and then we feel that. So we feel it in ourselves, and we certainly feel and see it in the world out there, right? Because you can't deny that things are falling apart. The things that we have taken for granted, that we have accepted as reality, that we have accepted as good or bad or valuable, it's all coming apart. I mean, we can't deny that anymore. It's really happening. And many of us light workers, and I'm assuming you might be one of them, we have known somewhere in the back of our minds that we are here for that shift, to be part of that shift where we make ourselves available for these new energies. That is hard if you don't have a good support group around you, a support system, if you don't quite understand what's going on. It's so easy if you just watch the news, let's say the mainstream news, they're showing, how things are just really bad and falling apart. And it's very scary, and they're, saying they're bad and they're good, or vice versa. If you're just filling yourself with that kind of information, you will not be aware of what else is going on. And that is why there are many, many um, channels, YouTube channels, and many other channels too. I don't mean necessarily spiritual channels, but just physical channels, outlets, I should say, physical outlets where people are beginning to share this, and that's why I'm doing it, because it's like it wants out. It's like these energies want beings who are able and willing to just speak about it. And that's what I feel moved to do. That's why it's giving me a lot of joy to do this, because it just feels like this just wants out. And if you also feel that, you might consider finding an outlet. Could be many ways. Could be a radio show, could be a blog post, could be Facebook post, although social media is not really allowing it all to come out or be shown to many people. But the bottom line is that these new energies are coming in. And so this big black balloon, the matrix balloon or the false matrix balloon, is losing its steam. This energy is so much higher, and it's just going to deflate this balloon. And that is what we see happening. What I also see happening, and you may join me in that, is that many people, if not most people, they're trying to, stop the air from going out, or, put a band-aid if there is a lot of holes in this balloon. And they're trying to fix it and try to help it rise up and be big again so it can keep punching us. And that is apparently a phase that also needs to happen. But you don't need to engage in that or participate in that. You can just observe it. I'm a big observer these days. I just see things happening and I sense into myself to see if I can sense what's going on a bigger picture or in a deeper picture. And I just allow it. And then I just do my very best to stay grounded in my heart and allowing that new energy to just come through. And that's a very silent process. It's not something I need to go out, with a megaphone. It's just in my life where I hear people talk about and they're scared. I just drop in here, kind of making myself available for this new just to come out, ooze out, seep out. I don't need to do anything unless there is a movement to say something. A lot of time there isn't, because I don't think most people at this point can hear it. So I just allow the energy to come out and let it do what it needs to do. I don't know what to do. I just do my best to be guided by what is here, what is already here. So just, do your best. See this big black balloon with, dark smoke coming out. See it shrinking and shriveling and deflating. And, I kind of also see there's a face on there that's looking more and more sad because it knows that it's over. And as long as people are trying to revive it, you might give it a little nourishment or nurturing or something just to keep it going a little longer. Maybe it's going to take a little longer for it to fully deflate. Because remember, it is our emotional energy, it's our emotional attachments to the matrix, to this big balloon. That is what brings in that air. So we keep inflating it every time you get upset about something in the matrix. That's what's happening in the world. You might use a lot of emotional energy, a lot of attachment, and to fight things or be upset about it, and all that energy. That's like bringing in the air, bringing back the air into the balloon. So if it's like here, and then a lot of people are just doing this energy, angry, fear, whatever it is. And then you might notice that it kind of rises up a little bit and it's like, oh, whoa, what's going on now? And I can't say this for sure, but it really feels like it is up to us whether this matrix is going to deflate sooner than later. It's going to happen. The balloon is over. You cannot revive a balloon that has holes in it as much as you would like to, as much as you try. You might succeed for a little bit, maybe put a Band-Aid on, and then the rubber of the balloon is going to kind of wear out under the Band-Aid, and then poof, it's going to be gone again. And I think that's what we are observing in the world right now, that they're trying to revive it, and here it's breaking down and there it's breaking down. And hey, it's big stuff. This is big stuff. It's not just easy and peaceful. But this big black balloon called the Matrix, it's had a big punch. It's been punching us around with fear and control and whatever. And it's not just going to give up. So it still has ways, to pull us in. And it's like the programming is still in us. And therefore, it's still easy for us to be programmed back or to be enticed back in there. But once the programming inside each one of us gets less and less, and that is the work we all need to do. And when I say all, it's all of those who want full freedom, who don't want to keep putting our energy in this matrix, in this structure, this false structure that we have lived in as if it was true. So there has to be something in us that needs to be deprogrammed, right? And that is up to us to do that. I was thinking, like, how do we do that? I have a lot of videos on that to go in and just really, I call it core wounding or attachment, emotional attachment. That is the work where we first realize and see them for what they are, that they're actually our experience, independent of what's going on out there. It is an inner individual experience. And as long as that is very activated and emotionally engaged and attached to this big balloon, that is the nourishment that it needs to stay puffed up, And the more of us just don't feed it anymore by doing our inner work. It's deep inner work that we are asked to do. The energies that are coming in, they are supporting in that. There's many, many, many ways that will assist us in releasing our emotional hooks and attachment to this shrinking balloon. But the balloon is still there, and it might still be there for a while. And it may not look like it's deflated a lot, depending on who's seeing it or through which lens you're looking. But the more of us who just stop engaging, of course, we need to engage because it's still our life experience. But you know what I mean? It's that emotional attachment of fighting it and being too afraid of it and talking about it and taking side, that what I always talk about. That's what we each individually have to stop doing. And the more of us do it, you might notice that this thing is just going to shrink, shrink, shrink. And it's not just going to give up. It's going to, fight and try and get us to keep feeding it. But eventually, and the more that happens, the more people will be able to see it for what it is or what it was. And then the more we bring in as vessels for these new higher frequencies, this new earth that is everywhere, inside and out, now we are beginning to embrace it, welcome it, feel it, trust it, open up to it. And that, of course, helps that old system shrink even more. So we are in this place where the old is dying and the new is rising. And it really is up to each one of us if we want to keep feeding something that's dying or something that is coming in, something that's taking birth. So yeah, it always comes down to this, that it really is our choice. So you want to feed the balloon, the dying balloon, or do you want to feed this new beautiful energy that I know you all deeply long for? It's hard to miss. All right, my friends, have a beautiful day.